don't forget there are gift cards available at RitaYanez.com.
Hi there, Leo. This is your monthly reading for the month of December 2015. I wish you well. I wish you a wonderful holiday season, and I hope it's off to a great start. We start off with the energy of the King of Swords in reverse. This is a card that indicates that even though you may feel like you're not making progress in your career as fast as you'd like to, that your best bet is to stick with the career, the skills, the thing that you already know how to do now. So whatever it is that your skill set has been in terms of your full-time employment, your day job, as it were, stick with that if that's what you're looking for. If you don't have a need to work because you're either a stay-at-home mom or dad, or because your life just isn't that way, you don't work because you choose not to, something such as this, then whatever that you're doing on a kind of a parent level, you know, what people know that you do, whether you just help out with volunteer efforts for the holidays, maybe you spend time at the soup kitchens, maybe you help with different projects for children. Do something like this to take that wonderful, helpful, sweet energy that you have and put it into a kind of pet project or something close to your heart like this, whether it's working with children or working with the homeless or working with the battered women's shelters or working with any project. You know, use that energy because you have considerable energy this week to, or excuse me, this month to work with charities and projects and even situations where the skills that you already have, the kind of person that you already are, can be utilized. So this isn't really the month where doing something new, trying something new, going out on a limb to sell yourself a different way or to promote a different project. That's really not what's going to work for you in terms of starting great good fortune. It really is more about what you already are doing, what you know how to do in relation to the people that you already know. So much of it right there is very fortunate for you. So this is the kind of energy that, yes, it could indicate that there's somebody who's giving you some information and it sounds like they're selling you a really great opportunity or product or service, something such as this. And he's really just selling you on it, something like a used car salesperson, which, no offense to the used car salespeople out there, but you know what I'm talking about, the kind of stereotype that we have for used car sales, that they're selling you a lemon and telling you that it is just this luxury coach. So what's offered to you at the beginning of December just doesn't look like it is what it appears to be on the surface. And likewise, you could inadvertently involve yourself in a get-rich-quick scheme or a pyramid scheme. It's the same kind of energy that could lead you into dangerous water, like loan sharking. You know, is just one of those. But it obviously is a situation where the person at the top is the one who makes all the money off of everybody else's efforts, and it really does turn out to be a pyramid scheme, but somebody else is calling it marketing. So whatever it is that you're doing, whatever it is that is your focus in terms of money, don't get yourself involved in something, especially if it requires your signature on a document like a contract, obligating yourself to do this in exchange for that. So just be careful with it. There's no reason to rush this month anyway, because you guys have a lot of good times that are coming up that have nothing to do with those stressful elements. It's just the beginning, first couple of weeks until we get to that new moon on the 11th, where you could really see what it is that you should focus on, which is just going to really be more about the traditional holiday spirit, the people you love, the people that you care for. It could be your family of children and your spouse, and it could be you and your fur babies. So it isn't anything that really is going to be that big a deal unless you really do involve yourself in something such as the examples that I gave you. Week 2, we've got the Hermit, and the Hermit card is asking you to look at things very carefully because of the emphasis of the atmosphere card. So look at things, don't be impulsive, even as it relates to new relationships. If somebody's going to come to you and especially if it's somebody who's completely unknown to you, that you have no experience with, search inside yourself to know what your GPS system, your internal clock system, your gut, your psychic senses, whatever it is that you refer to as that organic part of you that just knows what things are. Focus on that because the answers really are inside you. And okay, so if you're an especially young Leo type in your early 20s, late teens, and you don't have a lot of experience in the world with the shady types trying to sell you a service that doesn't exist, or, downline multi-level marketing, or a relationship that seems to be based on touching and feeling you out before you know this guy's, if it's something that's very new, just forget it. You are again encouraged to stick with the tried and true, which even could be for romance, where you meet somebody that is known to another person in a circle of friends where they really can vouch for whether or not this person is a murderer or, one of the serious sex offender types of people that can't be around children and, that kind of thing. So make sure that you just understand that most of your good fortune, your better chances, and even your safety relies with people and situations and jobs and focuses where you already know these people. Week 3, we have the Knight of Cups, and this is where you could get the beginning of seeing new people come into your life, new situations, new offerings. Now, the Page of Cups upright is really not that difficult a card to interpret. It's just that it is one of the cards that carries a little bit of, what's the word I want to use for this? It has a little bit of a warning with it. I almost called it a quid pro quo, but I don't think it really applies here. There is a warning associated with him that even though he's not as slippery a fish or as big a liar or manipulator as he is when he is in the reverse position, the problem with the Knight of Cups upright is that he still isn't as honest and transparent as he could be. Now, this could be male or female energy because there is no gender distinction among the knights and, as you know, the pages as well. So the Knight of Cups is somebody that you have to watch out for, regardless of whether they're promising you to keep you under contract for a job and then you find out, oh my God, so like you really have no funding, or you find out this person is trying to move in with you. And they just say, well, I'm in town, and since we're going to be working together and I could save more and budget better. And you're like, are you serious? You think you're going to move in? You guys are the type that don't easily, unless there's something going on in your natal astrology or some feature of your personality, you guys don't even like to move in with other people. Typically, you guys do not feel good about yourselves if you don't have your home base, your solid throne, your place where you know that you're secure. And then you decide who comes near your home, your house, your world. So I'm never really worried about Leo moving in with other people because most of the time they're already making distinctions or they're discerning who these people are long before they walk up to the front door with a suitcase. You guys don't like to do that to other people because you really are that independent and self-sufficient, and you sure as hell don't want it done to you. So remember that, again, something that could be indicative of an offer that comes to you, whether it is a relationship or whether it is a financial opportunity or somebody's got the next new biggest thing and it's a better version of Jamberry nails than has ever been sold. Well, I kind of would consider this if you have to invest money in inventory or startup fees and that kind of thing. Stick with the tried and true. Stick with what is only dependent on what you do or don't do. And I always bring this up whenever I am talking about these deals, which I don't even know if they work the same way, but in the 90s, I was involved with Amway only because I wanted the products myself. So I wanted to buy my stuff. I didn't care who benefited from me because I wanted the stuff. They had a really great catalog of products at that time. I really don't know what's happened with them. But what I liked is that if anybody wanted to buy something through me, I didn't have to have the inventory. It wasn't like what Mary Kay Cosmetics used to be, where I've told you guys the story. I ended up with all this damn product and ended up giving it all away because I realized I'm just not a good salesperson. I just, because I'm the one going, look, you don't really need a $25 compact. Come on. We could go over to Target and we can get a $3 or Walmart, CoverGirl Cosmetics compact, and it's just as good as L'Oreal. And so I'm not the best person for this, but what I really was intrigued by was that anybody could get in. It didn't cost any money. You just bought a few products and there you go, boom. So if somebody is bringing you an opportunity this month or trying to sell you on something, likewise, be fair. If you're trying to sell somebody else on something, that you're very honest about what they're getting involved in with you and vice versa. With that said, if it's a relationship or anything else, as long as it is very known to you and you don't have to pull this kind of nylon stocking over your face or anyone else's to get them to believe you, then you're absolutely fine. But remember, even in romantic relationships, for those of you who are not already partnered and committed and dedicated or married or whatever it is that people do these days, that there is the element here that this person is not as they appear to be. Now, the good news is that for those of you that are already committed, meaning that you've been together forever and a million years and 2 days, and or you're married and your marriage is good and solid and there are no issues there with that, then this is great because your spouse could be approaching you with a way to spice up your routine, or you're going to a special dinner for the holidays and maybe you're going to be wined and dined, or you wined and dined each other and then had a wonderful night together where you dress up and you feel good, you look good, and there are rose petals all over the bed and just something beautiful. You know, it could be anything like this. Rekindle that, because that's really where it's at with you romantically. There's going to be more that I'll talk to you about romance, but it'll be in a completely different reading. Week 4, we've got the 9 of Cups in reverse, which is again where you get something where you think this is what you wanted, you thought this is what it seemed to be, and then it isn't, or it doesn't satisfy you completely. So I have cautioned in different ways that if you're going to invest money in a gift for yourself or something pretty important, a new addition to the family, like a big TV or like a really nice sound system or a new vehicle, be very, 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 very careful, because this month the influences for making purchases, I'm trying to explain to people that if they can't get this done in approximately the first 10 or 11 days of December, and it's a big purchase that cannot be returned easily, then stay away from it and don't get involved in it until like mid-February. Now, if you've already been in the negotiations and are about to put the final John Hancock on the contracts for a new vehicle and you're doing it this week, go for it. You're doing it next week, hurry your ass up, because, you know, it starts to get a little convoluted, but if it's already been in place, you're fine. Also, this could be that you actually asked for something and that you planned for this, and maybe let's just pick something like that you wanted to go on a harbor cruise so that you don't have to end up dead in the water near Barbados, or so. You know, do you guys know about those crazy stories? I do not want to go anywhere on a cruise ship, and if it's big and huge, then I for sure will not get on it. If it's a yacht or something, I will go. But I just saw some more stories. There's like a whole series I didn't even know about that Beth Holloway basically is the person interviewing these people. And you know Beth Holloway from the tragic disappearance of Natalie Holloway. Anyway, but it just scares the junk out of me. So let's just say, I'm sorry that I got off on that tangent, but I'm just so shocked by the freaking things that could happen that the one that I watched the other day on YouTube was a story about a woman's daughter who goes missing on the ship. And there, 13, 14 years later, there have been sightings of her everywhere, and she is being held captive as some kind of a prostitute. And it is the most frightening thing ever. So let's just say that week 4, you're getting your wish and you've got your money together, and you know that you can put it on credit because you're going to pay it back with your tax return next year. And then you realize that you really don't want to go. That now you've got this like $800 deposit in the hole for each of you. So it's like $1,500-$1,600. And you're like, you know, yeah, I thought it's what I wanted. Now, how do I tell my husband that the thing that I was pestering him for, that was going to be so romantic and so fantastic, and I'm wearing a ball gown, and it's going to be something out of the Titanic except without the tragedy, hopefully, you know, and you're like, how do I let him down, let him know that this isn't what I want to do? Or we realize that we've got some unexpected expenses, like the furnace blew, or, you know, the refrigerator exploded, or, you know, a giant turd bomb hit the house and wrecked the windows, you know, whatever that is. You might as well just be honest about it. And if you haven't committed the money, or you can somehow pay a little extra to make this trip happen at a different time, you might want that extra insurance. And likewise, if you're planning on buying some tickets to go somewhere, like visit your daughter, visit some family, visit your mother, you need to make sure that you have enough money to pay for that extra insurance so that you can transfer those flights, those seats to some other time and place, even if it is relatively expensive to do. It is the insurance that you actually need with the Nine of Cups in reverse. In a relationship sense, it really, unless you guys are dating and newness and new people or people that you don't know very well, if you have a situation like that, you need to be careful. Again, eyes wide open. If you're in a committed and partnered and perfectly sane and stable, like my favorite relationship of all time is my brother and sister-in-laws, and theirs is just solid. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a more solid relationship in my life, and I'm the one who set them up. So I feel like a badass. I'm like the ninja matchmaker, but I'm never any good at matchmaking for myself. But anyway, if you've got a situation where it's very solid, then that's where you need to leave it where it's at. If you're new and dating, I really prefer for you guys to tell me all about the people you met at the holiday parties. Tell me about it in 2016 so that we can decide whether or not this is going to go the distance. Week 5, we have the World card, and that is excellent because it talks about this being a beautiful finale to, sometimes a cantankerous, if not stressful and challenging year, but it is wrapping itself very nicely. That's why I don't want to have you taking any drama with you forward into 2016. Don't start committed relationships is what I'm saying in terms of romance. Don't start them. Date them. Get to know them. Call them friendships. Go friending, not dating. And then let's talk about this in 2016 and see how it goes in about the middle of February. Now, with that said, of course, we're splitting hairs to see what days are great for everybody, but I'd have to see your natal chart to even get an idea, of what your transiting astrology is like. And then we have to remember, too, that we don't live our lives by the stars. We should use them like guidance and navigation, but just like the early sailors of days of old in clipper ships, you already knew what to expect, and everybody was pretty good at this at the time, but you still had maps and you were still charting locations and still keeping track in other ways. You didn't just look up and say, well, looks like we just passed Capricorn. We better hard left, not like that. So just consider that this is wrapping up beautifully. The thing I want you to do this month, though, if you hear me on any level, is to take good care of yourself. Your nervous system could be a little stressed more than usual. So be good to yourself. Curl up with your puppies and your kittens and your lover, or your mittens and your movie and your candy canes. Whatever you do, snuggle up, stay warm, be at peace, keep it calm. Don't ingest too much alcohol. If you're going to go overboard on anything, let it be dinner, let it be food. Don't go too far overboard and upset your system. Like this month, I'm already starting off with some problems with my stomach, and I realized I'd eaten a glazed donut the other day. And I know it sounds harmless, but for some reason, this particular type of glazed donut from this place was like a freaking bomb in my stomach. So, the next day I ate another one, just to see what would happen. Again, here comes the heartburn. I'm like, all right, so my body's talking to me. It doesn't like these glazed donuts from this place at all. But just make sure that alcohol is not a major feature. It tends to blur the lines. It isn't really good to be wishing other people and singing Old Lang Syne while you're drunk. And bad things happen. That's when we open up the closet to take our coats before we leave and somebody's bent over. Bad things can happen, in closets. I've only heard stories. I've never been a part of them or seen them, but I can imagine that they're just outrageous. So let the world wrap itself up around you. Watch it, enjoy it, schedule where you're going to watch the ball drop. Hold hands with the person who's been with you forever, even if that's just your girlfriend from high school that you're best friends with to this day, or your husband, your wife, your mother. Do whatever it is that's safe and sane. Watch your nervous system. Don't tax it too much. Get yourself some rest, and be careful with the risky endeavors. Be careful with the risky deals. If somebody seems like they're sweating it out and they got to sell you a box of Tupperware or ShamWow, you might want to think about why you're buying this. If it's because this guy is cute and he's selling it to you, all right, I get it. If it's because you feel bad for this person standing outside in the rain, well, then go for it, because of course, if you feel, I remember buying stuff from people that weren't even supposed to be in the community I lived in, but I did it because they were scrubbing my oil stains in my driveway and working. There was this one guy that was just dripping in sweat, and he was just such a sweetheart. I had to buy whatever amazing thing that now I can get at the dollar store. But remember that the risks really are only in these areas, that if it's a get-rich-quick scheme, or you got to buy inventory, you got to sign a dotted line too late into this month, then rethink what you're doing, and it's up to you, but just remember the admonitions. If it's a relationship that's new and you just met this person, or you're trying to make it fit like such a stretchy skull cap to get the idea to work for you that, well, I did know this person 45 years ago, so no, That's really not the type of energy we're talking about. So just remain friendly and friending instead of dating, and you'll be fine. And then your health, you're just needing to take a little bit of extra care. TLC, it doesn't mean that you're going to be sick. It doesn't mean that you're going to have one of my favorite styles of nervous breakdowns, which is about 3.5 every fifth year. Whatever it is, just make sure that you're taking care of yourself and you're being good to your system and honoring your body for what it does for you. It keeps your soul and your spirit together and alive, and it gives us the opportunity to get to know you and to be in your world too. I want to send you a lot of love. I'm happy that you're one of the zodiacs that's going to have the better December of everybody, and I would wish for you only the best and a very, very happy holiday month for you, Leo. Enjoy.